Hello and welcome back to the channel. We are back with another episode of Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power, episode 2. Last time on the Rings of Power, that was a fantastic first episode, a fantastic pilot. Yeah, the criticisms that we've been seeing online, the negative ones, have just been wrong. Um, yeah, I mean, I recognize some of the concerns were more leaning towards the pacing or the episode feeling slow, but I did not feel like this was a slow episode at all. I was completely engrossed from beginning to end. It felt like half an hour to me, even though it was an hour long, because I was so invested in these characters. I'm loving a lot of the characters I'm seeing so far. I haven't learned all the names as yet, but over time, I guess I'll pick that up. I like the Harfoot so far, even though I don't know if they're different from hobbits, but they're cute and innocent, and I hope nothing happens to them. But I worry for Nori because she just found some person that just crash landed. But I'm hoping she makes it out of this okay. Of course, we had Galadriel. We learn a bit more about her story and the loss of her brother, and why she refuses to let this go until she is rid of the world of Sauron and the evil that he brings. Of course, the king and Elrond. I guess it's not so much they don't believe her, so much as they didn't want to linger on that obsession. They didn't want her to become obsessed with vengeance. I think in some respects they were trying to protect her, and at the same time, as the king said, he didn't want her to ignite the very thing that she was trying to eliminate by feeding into that darkness, and that's understandable as well. We met this young elf who's been on patrol along this human village, and he seems to have fallen in love with a human woman, and I don't know how that's gonna work out, but hopefully I don't think this is going to work out real well for them. His friend said this has happened before, and it ended in death. The union of elf and human doesn't appear to, it's scoffed and looked down upon, and yeah, I don't think it's gonna work out great, but I do hope for their sake it does. I think the mom was a bit irresponsible, just running off and leaving her son alone, and he seems to have found this weapon or sword that I'm assuming belonged to some of the men who sided with Morgoth in the war. And perhaps they've just been lying in wait, which would give some credibility to what the post commander said, in that they aren't posted here on watch for what the men did do, but what they are, I'm paraphrasing here, but what they're capable of still doing. And I do think there are people there who look at the elves the way when they do pass through, and I am curious to know more about the relationship and why humans look at elves the way they do. Why did they side with Morgoth? Because elves in this world and in every fantasy that you've probably ever heard of, they are a bit condescending when it comes to humans. So I mean, you do have to wonder at some point, is it purely because the humans are just inherently bad and evil and have evil intentions, or is it because, or partly because the elves somehow see themselves as better than humans? So I'm quite intrigued to explore the relationship between the humans and elves, and I think that young that soldier and the woman that he's fallen in love with, I think they will be one of my favorite things to follow, which is interesting because typically I do not love when series focus too much on romance, because sometimes that takes away from the story, but in this case it fits the story that they're trying to tell, and it's relevant to understanding the relationship between elves and humans, to see how the humans treat the elves and how the elves treat the humans. So in this instance, which is a rarity, as long as they don't make it some weird love triangle, that's where I'm like, that's just not for me. But as long as they focus on those two elements, and you know it's about what this union represents, then it might be one of my favorite things. And they're the two persons I'm a bit keen to watch at the moment. So, all right, episode 2, let's check it out. Probably wasn't the smartest decision to just jump off in the middle of nowhere, but fortunately for her, I'm guessing elves have very good stamina. Don't let curiosity get the better of you, Nori. Go back. Go back.
Nori! Poppy! Have the wheels come off your car. Get away
Yes. Listen to your friend. Oh, dear God.
It's not hot. Fine, it's not hot. It doesn't change the fact that there's a giant here.
I thought it was Sauron before, but perhaps not.
He's dead, come on!
Oh, God. I don't think it's Sauron. But who the hell is this? Ah, Nori. Oh. Are you alright, Nori?
Your mom's gonna kill you. I can't leave him like this. Or the
And
ghost
she
gets
should.
So that's not who we are. That's not who
Yes,
we
we
do.
can.
I can't carry him alone. Are you gonna help me or not? Not Poppy.
I'm with Poppy on this. I think you guys should leave. The festival, forget the festival. What trouble are you guys getting yourselves into?
Just for one night. In the morning, we'll pack him up some food and send him.
They're not bringing him into the village, are they?
It's a tomorrow problem. This isn't some adventure, Nori.
You kind of did.
Maybe something dangerous.
Now you sound just like
Yeah, I mean, I think if he was dangerous, he would have harmed them. So I'm assuming he's some sort of
anything bad that happens the next 3 seasons
maze,
will
like
be our fault.
Gandalf or something. I hope she knows what she's doing. I don't think Mom is going to like this at all.
Why are you doing this?
Poppy's just standing there like, what are you doing?
I know it sounds strange, but somehow
Fate, perhaps?
snow is important. I was supposed to find it. Me.
You owe me one. Big time.
This was Kieran's home. And Hannah, his wife was Hannah.
Right, she did mention that this is where she's from.
This was no ground shake. Someone dug this passage.
Something.
Go. Warn your people.
Or get help first and then come back and do this. This is reckless. Say the thing that you haven't said with words. Now's the time. Or not. Must be great to be an elf. They have a realm
Strange.
just for smithing.
How one object could be responsible for creating so much beauty and so much pain.
True creation requires sacrifice.
Okay, a bit of lore.
An age ago, our kind brought war to these shores. I want to fill them with beauty, to grow beyond petty works of jewel craft and devise something of real power.
A tower. One that can host a forge. More powerful than any ever built. Able to birth a flame as hot as a dragon's tongue and as pure as stars.
Yeah, man, into what?
Have you considered seeking partners outside the confines of our own race?
How far outside?
Dwarves. I mean, that's what dwarves are known for. I'm not sure which of the two were the greater blacksmiths, the dwarves or the elves.
An alliance with the dwarves would be the diplomatic achievement of the age.
Their prince, Durin, is an old and dear friend. Almost like a brother to me.
So the elves and the dwarves were on good terms here.
It is Elrond of Lindon, accompanied by Celebrimbor, Lord of Eregion. We seek an audience with Prince Durin.
No. That didn't go quite well.
All right then, my friend.
Okay. What changed?
I invoke the right of Sigyn Tarag.
Okay.
You are master of your craft, my friend. Allow me a few days to work mine.
I mean, he seemed to believe that they were on good terms, so what changed? And we know he's not going to die, obviously, so this must go well. Oh, a literal underground city. Well done, dwarves. I'm impressed. Where is the prince? Oh.
The dwarven test of endurance, fashioned by Aule himself.
I thought they were friends. This is not the welcome of a friend.
Until one of us can break the bond. In the unlikely event the elf should win, we shall grant a single boon. But should he lose,
Banished.
Okay,
Yes.
what's this challenge?
Understood.
They're going to break rocks? I like this. Let's go. So I guess we can keep going. We can keep going the longest. All right. I don't know. Maybe he should have written to him more. Their friendships and stuff. Oh,
Hello?
calm down. Does he know who you are? I don't know, this actor looks familiar. I'm trying to place his face, but can't quite. I mean, I think it's pretty clear at this point that he's that he is a wizard similar to Gandalf.
Suppose you didn't
Guessing
fall
not a
quite
white
the way
wizard,
anybody's
so
head would be in a higgledy-piggledy.
agree.
I fell out to the tree once. For a whole week I kept calling strawberries.
I forget. I
pigberries.
think there are different
Imagine.
colors to mean
Pigberry.
different things for the wizards, but I don't recall all of it. I don't know if they eat that. Ugh. Okay, so when they do land, if I recall correctly, they're supposed to be like equivalent to fallen angels of some sort, if I'm remembering that right.
No, that's not how you...
But with no memory or anything, but seems to have all the power. Let's go slowly. He hasn't even said his name as yet.
And up she goes. Come on, baby.
Guess they're just concerned about their festival. Oh, that's gonna snap. Oh no, was that Nori's dad?
Is it some sort of map?
Oh no, something gonna happen to him. Oh, no, no, no. Oh, God. She's gonna get in a lot of trouble for that one because she was supposed to be there to help.
Friend. Friend. Just a friend. Lori. It's your father.
Yeah. He's got a positive attitude about it.
Fine. I slipped on wet grass is all. It's just a twist. There's nothing to worry.
There's plenty to worry
Never you
about.
mind.
I should have been here.
You're here now, all right? Now go on. Fetch me some cold water and some...
How bad is it? Can you migrate?
Why are they so concerned with that? Are they gonna leave him behind? So did you just leave people behind who can't travel? That's not great. Oh, I remember this from the trailer. Something lingers beneath the surface. These are humans, right?
Come closer.
What do you think you're doing?
We're not leaving her adrift.
Suppose you'll be sharing your rations with her then.
I mean, you don't have to give her your food, but see how long she lasts. You know, before just deciding to abandon her. Why are they just out here floating about? Why are you out here?
I was separated from my ship.
Tact.
Yeah, and I'm guessing she hid the ears because
Then you're
humans
not
are
doing it.
just not liked. Does it matter? Okay. I think this guy's gonna be a problem. Uh-oh.
That's
Is everything in this place that's our...
our ship.
Okay, it's on its back. Yeah. Lure people in. Smart. It's gonna cut right through it. No? Okay.
Yup, let it right to us.
That turned quickly. Why would she think the elf did that? What, is something stuck in its fin or its tail? Okay, so... Well, so much for them. I'm gonna go out on a limb here and guess that humans have been trying to hunt it. And so it just kills anyone that comes into its water. Judging by all the spears and so on, that's... I could be wrong and maybe they were just defending themselves. Perhaps. How is it he survived? Okay. I don't trust him. But, I mean, he's not treating her any differently as an elf.
What's her head?
Halbrand. Our. Alright, so that's it. Well, Elrond's getting tired. I mean, these guys do it for, you know, do it every day. I mean, I think he could have continued, right? And he gave him a nod.
Take your leave.
Perhaps his lordship would be willing to escort me to the exit.
Okay, so there's clearly something happening here that he doesn't want to say in front of everyone else. and he needs to
Durin,
put
have I
on a
offended
strong
you?
front.
After that one, we'd need a longer lift.
If you wish to discharge
And
me,
opposition to the
that
elves.
is your choice.
Better feathery shirt. Want something?
I journeyed here to see my friend whom I've greatly missed.
Missed? You missed my wedding. The birth of my
Oh,
children.
I wasn't wrong.
children.
Should have wrote. Should have written to him.
You cannot claim that which you discarded.
Discarded. Durin,
20 years may be the blink of an eye to now.
Yeah, the time difference.
But I've lived an entire life in that time.
Yep, he's right. Yeah, 20 years is nothing to him, but
Congratulations on your wife, your children. And I would like very much to apologize to your family as well.
One apology to Disa and
Understood.
Oh, weird.
he's staying for dinner.
This cannot be Elrond, can it?
I fear so, fair lady.
Oh, the wife. Oh, so she okay, so she knows him.
I've been remiss in not visiting sooner. An oversight for which I am here to humbly ask forgiveness.
You're staying for dinner.
He's leaving.
He's staying.
He's leaving.
He's staying. Dear that gambling! Come on! Hurry along. Make yourself comfortable, please.
No, he's leaving.
But not too comfortable.
I love Durin so far, man. I get it. I mean, you can't call yourself his friend when you haven't spoken to him in such a long time. And to be fair, I'm guilty of doing that. Not for 20 years, because I don't have the lifespan of an elf. But, you know,
You see,
I go long stints without actually messaging or speaking to my friends. But that's just, I feel like Zoe should be able to just meet back up and catch up.
showing you what might be hidden, where to mine,
But I know not
tunnel,
everyone's like that.
and where to leave the mountain untouched.
Why is that, Durin? You said no reminiscing about the past. Oh,
Planted it, raised it up, tends it like it's our third child.
was it a gift from him? Ah, yes.
Some called him a fool for believing it would grow in such darkness.
Where there is love, it is never truly dark. How could it not grow in a home like yours?
You're buttering him up now, aren't you?
I fear I've overstayed my welcome. Thank you, Disa, for your hospitality.
Durin, don't let him go.
Durin.
Sorry, sit down.
Are you certain?
No, and I'm still angry. Tell me about your king's proposal so I can decide
Don't test
whether
him.
to present it to my father or toss it in the nearest slag pit.
Oh, so he's. Oh, okay, yeah. I don't know. For some reason, I was thinking that he's king, but yeah, he's a prince.
You're a deserter, aren't you?
Do I
It's
have
not
the
that unusual.
You don't have the look of someone to whom things happen by accident. Which means you were
I mean,
running.
she's technically not a deserter. She was
Well, it's
going
all
home.
from
I mean,
something
they
that
did
happened.
say it's never happened before. No one has, you know, turned it down, but I don't see why she couldn't go back home. It's not like she was at war or anything.
The way I see it, it wasn't elves that chased me from my homeland.
Where is your homeland?
It was orcs.
How did they miss this though? Because from what he's saying, the orcs haven't been quiet. They've been looking in the wrong place. I just don't know how it is that the orcs have been this active and the elves have not noticed. Although, you know, I guess the elves haven't necessarily been in communication with humans, so they've probably just not cared to look further.
The entire village was empty.
It was as if the ground had swallowed up the people.
Yeah, I don't think anyone's going to believe her.
Round here's tit, she always has been.
I tell you, we remain here at our peril. We must spread the word.
No, I will not have this gossip from me.
Waldrick, we're all alone. Osterith is empty, the watchtower abandoned.
Yes, I know, and I'm not inviting them elves back on account of some sinkhole.
Here we go. I knew this was coming. See her as some kind of elf sympathizer, and you know they'll have none of it. I really hope he put that sword back, but I'm guessing he hasn't. Okay. Sword followed him. What the hell? Huh. I guess they're here? She's too late. They've already dug their way to their village. They've been under their noses all this time. Oh boy. Should not have come here without backup. Ah. Can't go any further. Oh man. So claustrophobic. Water. I would not be going under there. Did it follow? Yeah. Behind you. Behind you. There's more than just one of them. Ah. Yeah. What are they doing with the people that they're taking, though? The other town was empty, all the animals were dead, but the people are gone, so... And her son has now been taken.
Theo!
Oh, I hope he was hiding. Ah, okay, okay.
Get help.
Go, 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 go. Either take him with you and run or let him hide and run. What? I don't know about this. I guess she didn't want to leave him be, but I mean, clearly he's been safe there for a while, so it would have been better to go and get help. Alright, this looks pretty good. I think they went mostly with practical. Instead of the CGI. Uh-oh. Yeah, right in front of you. Should have left. You guys be... Catch it, catch it! This thing's strong. Come on, at least one of you get out there. Alright, alright. There you go. Alright. The door. Alright, Theo. Watch it, watch it. Oh. There's your proof.
Are there any of you here who want to live? We make for the Elven Tower at first light.
Any objections? There is no way this wouldn't have flipped already. Uh-oh, there's a big one. Ah. It fell over the side. Oh, grab it, grab it, grab it. But something's pulling her down though. This is... Wow. I mean, he did say survival. You know. He didn't make it this far trying to save everyone, but I think he will try. Yeah, yeah. Just need to cut her free first. Ah, that shot was so beautiful. Made it! Well, he learned to save someone. Oh, right. Back to the wizard. Hopefully he has learned to speak.
You see, the next migration is in just a few days now, and everything's gone.
Oh, so they're
I wanted
leaving.
to help you. I thought I could, but I'm sorry.
Speaking with fireflies. There's something you've never seen before. Yeah, confirmed. Definitely a wizard.
They're stars.
How are you going to do that? This is gonna take a while. But maybe the guy has. The one that's always reading and looking up at the stars for signs and stuff.
Nori?
Oh, dear old dad. Doesn't know what.
Tell me, do you not think it's a coincidence that an elf should just land on our doorstep? Now,
I've known Eldron for half a century, Father. I'd sense it if you were hiding something.
Yeah, there's a lot of that going on.
there can be no trust between hammer and rock. Eventually, one or the other.
What do they have? Is that the jewel that was in the Hobbit when they did get back to the Dwarven mines that they were looking for? I forget what it was called, but it's giving off the same glow. I forget what its significance is though. It's been a minute since I've watched those. Alright, so he kept it. I get the feeling this is going to corrupt him. Ah. Blood is being pulled to it. Oh,
You ready?
come on, let's go.
Yes, Mother.
Prefer if he left it behind, but I don't think he will. Okay. Haven't made it back to land yet, but... What the hell is that? Is it Elrond? Alright, episode 2 of the Rings of Power. Another great episode. I'm thoroughly enjoying this series so far. It is all I've wanted for a fantasy brought to life in a series format in years. I'm loving everything so far. Didn't expect there to be as much levity, but the humor it's not over the top. It's not beating you over the head with it. But just the first half, watching Durin and Elrond and their relationship that was bloody hilarious. Yeah. So I mean, I got the impression when it did get there that something was happening within the the dwarves community that he didn't want to say to him specifically, but it forced him to put on a front. And of course there was a bit about Elrond missing a lot of that, but there was there was something else behind it, and we see that towards the end here with his during the discussion with his father, in that they did find something, and they feel as though the elves are there to to claim it, or it's pose some kind of threat to them, and so they have to put up a facade, a position of strength, and so he felt like he had no choice but to do that. I don't think Durin himself would have done it if his father wasn't king, but his father seems very much to still distrust elves. Again, I'm not entirely clear on what the history is there, but there does seem to be as much distrust between the elves and dwarves as there is with the elves and the humans. So at a certain point, the elves have to ask themselves, is it the humans? Is it the dwarves? Or are we the problem? Because they have a bad relationship with every other race. So I think they need to do a bit more self-reflection, But yeah, that definitely doesn't trust him. But that bit there of dialogue with him, just saying that 20 years have passed and you missed the wedding, you missed the birth of my children, but you call yourself my friend. And as I said in the reaction, I'm guilty of that. Not 20 years because I don't have Elrond's lifespan, but I am guilty of, having not spoken to friends for a long period of time, and then in my mind, when we catch up, no time has passed. But that's just how I perceive things, and sometimes I have to be reminded that time did pass, and you should keep in touch more frequently than you do. So I can relate, unfortunately, but fortunately for us, Durin's wife is a bit more open and to see that, okay, yeah, this did happen, but for elves, I guess from their perspective, because they have such long lifespan, it feels as though it's just been maybe a few months, but it's 20 years. But when you live for hundreds of years, time can feel a bit distorted for you. But Elrond owned up to it, and he apologized, and it's good to see that they're on good terms now. That was my favorite thing in the episode so far, just the dialogue and the friendship between those two characters. But I mean, it seems these two, both the elves and the dwarves, because the dwarves appear to have found this thing, which I'm assuming is the gem from the Hobbit films that they try to go back and claim. I forget what the significance of it is, but we do know that it does corrupt its wielder. But the elves themselves appear to want to build these towers to make something. So both, I'm not sure if it's a race for power, and that might eventually lead to Sauron actually obtaining more power, because they're each hiding something from the other, but and they claim they're trying to use that thing for good, but I question their motivations for doing it. I'm curious to see how that plays out, both from the Dwarven King and the Elven King as well, because on the face of it, they appear to have good intentions, but the way in which they're going about this raises a few eyebrows for me. Of course, Galadriel now has a companion, someone who, he does remind me quite a bit of Aragorn. And he said his countryside was ravaged by orcs, and I do wonder why the elves have not heard about this. If it is that they've just not expanded their army that far, so they haven't heard about it. But I think news would travel, right? Although since this guy has to, take a ship to get to where he's going, I imagine it would, they probably killed more humans there, and very few managed to escape. So it took a while for that information to get to where the elves were. But it's clear that the elves have been looking in the wrong direction all this time, because the orcs have been there. They've been very active. They've been busy. They've been killing people, and the elves just have missed it entirely. So that part, I'm wondering how they managed to let that happen. I guess they just have outposts near where the war was centered, and looks at nowhere else in hundreds of years, because it's been going on for a bit now. But yes, the orcs are back. We got our first look at one of the orcs, and I love that they went with a more practical design for them rather than using CGI creatures, which is where like the Hobbit fell down, because everything just looked a bit cartoony and not real. And that was of course one of the things that the Lord of the Rings films did great, is that they went more practical. And I'm glad to see that this is following suit as well, except for the giant monster, of course, which obviously they can't. Yeah, but even the monster that we did see here, the CGI when it is used looks very, very good. I think there was only one scene throughout the season so far that I felt like I wasn't watching an actual an actual scene, in terms of it felt maybe they were using like the volume technology or something like that, and I think it was when Elrond and the blacksmith elf were walking towards the mine, and they were having a conversation. You could feel as though they weren't at a real location, that they were walking in front of a green screen or something to that effect. So that was the only point that actually pulled me out. I'm like, yeah, I don't buy that you're strolling past this greenery and these rocks and all that. It feels as though you're walking on a green screen. That was the only thing that in any of the episodes that have taken me out of the experience so far. But outside of that, Nori and Poppy are still trying to help this wizard, who I think it's confirmed by now, that he is a wizard similar to Gandalf, that has landed. And again, my lore on this is very minimum. But from what I remember, these wizards kind of coincide with the evil starting to spread. So it's kind of like a balance thing. So with Sauron's uprising, then there must be a wizard to counter that, or something to that effect. So I guess this is who was sent. But he's still very much trying to figure stuff out. It would have been nice if they sent him with the bare minimum of being able to speak, so he could find what he's looking for, but apparently not. I mean, Nori's village is going to be migrating, so I don't know if it's a case where she's going to stay with this wizard and try to accompany him and help him, because she feels as though it's somehow fate. I think that's what we're leaning towards, so that'll be interesting. We also had I'm still learning names. The woman that was in love with the elf, and she had her moment where she went back to warn the villagers about the orc attack that could be coming, and none of them believed her. They of course managed to take one of them down and show them as proof, and they appear to be leaving. So hopefully they all leave in time before the slaughter. We didn't see what happened to the elf that she's in love with. He seems to have been taken by some orcs, but we haven't seen what his fate is as yet. I don't think he's dead. Considering that we've been focusing so much on his character and their relationship, I do think it's a character that we'll be following for quite a bit. So I don't think he's removed from the series. So we'll definitely be catching up to him hopefully in the next episode. All right, guys, that is it for Lord of the Rings of Power episode 2. Another great episode in my personal opinion. Remember to post down below. Let me know what your thoughts are on this episode. Hit that like and subscribe button, and I'll see you for the next one.